Look, we're going to talk about the U.S. women's team because they're incredible. But I love what she said and pointing out the fact that, because I saw a lot of like worriness and nerves. I mean, this was the first time I want to say it's been in 14 years that the U.S. has even been down and had to come back.
Since 2011. That's right.
Yes.
Since Brazil, 2011.
Right. So that was like new territory for them. And to me, I think we should be applauding them for their resolve and resilience and coming back, because they know the expectations on this team. But instead, I felt the discourse afterwards was a lot of, oh, they're in trouble. They should have been up by more goals. Like people just want the U.S. to dominate. And some of that is that American exceptionalism. And we understand what this team has done in the past before. We get it. But in this situation, like, I also think we have to start giving credit to other teams. They're good. They're better, like Abby said. And so I was so happy that she pointed that out. Now, look, let me tell you something, Lindsey. Woo! I loved it. I loved it all. I loved everything. I loved everything that happened in that game. Like her passion came out, she was shoving, she got heated, and then she had a header, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how you respond. I loved it. I loved it. I loved that passion, Zena.
I agree with you all the way through. And I think it's also notable to say, Lindsey Horan is the only one on that team that played in Europe. And there is something to be said about European football in comparison to American football. It's more physical. It is more aggressive. And you could see that in the way that she went up against the underdog. Like she was not with her teammate. Her teammate. Exactly. She was not with the insert expletive. She was not with it. But of course they made up at the end and we could talk about what that looked like. But even before that, this whole game was reflective of what you're talking about. These teams are getting better. And it's not just what Abby was talking about in terms of investment into the clubs, which is huge, right? You're getting smarter minds in there. You're getting better coaches in there. You're getting more resources. But people are watching their film. And it was so evident that Netherlands watched their film. They knew Sophia Smith, who already had 2 goals against Vietnam. They knew Trinity Rodman, who is an offensive threat, period, and Alex Morgan were going to be critical to be able to advance the ball and also to score. And they shut them down in the first half. The U.S. looked discombobulated. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing. And that was what was so interesting about why, Coach Flacco and Danovsky was saying, oh, well, I started the team, the same 11 from the Vietnam team because they were in good rhythm. It's like, they didn't look like they were in good rhythm. And the Netherlands completely disrupted that.
Well, look, he only had one substitution for the game, which ended up being
and that was a whole nother thing.
But so that was a big conversation around it. And look, there is merit to saying that the U.S. team has to play better because there were a number of goals that they just didn't complete. You brought up Rodman. She had one that and so there were so many of them, right? But I also think there's what's also just sort of being overlooked is a lot of these players are new to playing with each other on this stage. And there's a chemistry that has to develop. And that was also something that Abby pointed out later in that, that interview. We didn't have the full thing, but she's like, the chemistry grows. You need 6, 7 games. It's a number of games. And you kind of build as you progress. This is still the early stages. So, and Netherlands are a worthy opponent. We knew that coming into this game. So there are some who say, well, look, he didn't want to do a lot of substitutions because he wanted to go with the players he knew he could trust, and that's why he even got certain players out early in the last game. They were up, because, like an Alex Morgan, who's a little older, not as young, he left Sophia in, but you want to get them out so you can play Alex Morgan, that whole match. So look, can you always play better? Can you always do better? Of course, right? But I think I just think they showed tremendous resolve, and I was all about Lindsey and the back and forth. And I just, afterwards there were a lot of tweets and pictures showing that they had made up and everything
they
felt
hugged.
good.
Right.
That's great. Okay. I don't care though. I mean, like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, they're all good. I don't want to say that I don't care, but it's just like I felt like I saw more of these pictures before I could even find anything with the shoving and the pushing and the arguing with the refs.
They want to make it seem so nice. Girl, right, exactly. I love the passion. I love the fight. I love the aggression that women are able to demonstrate. This is exactly what we were talking about the last time we were on. It's not a tea party in these games. This is World Cup. This is representing your country. This is blood, sweat, and tears coming out to fruition on the field. And you only get this every 4 years. We don't need hugs. We don't need that. We want the passion that you're talking about.
It's okay.
Yes, exactly. Nobody's gonna get mad at that. We love it in the men's side, the men's arena. We can love it here too. And so, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, we didn't need all that hugging. Lindsey Horan, like, you keep going, girl. You keep going with that energy because we're behind you. We're supporting you. We love it.
In fact, I don't even want to see the friendly stuff. Like, until this is over, we ain't buddies.
Right. I respect that. I respect that. That's how it's supposed to be. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. That's competition. That is what it is. And you think about the number one competitor, period, right? Everyone says Kobe or Jordan, right? Between those two in terms of basketball, you know, we love talking basketball. They weren't friends with you, right? Exactly. They were in your face like, you ain't nothing until after the game. Then they might, you know, talk to you, give you some pointers, tap you on the butt, whatever it is. But like, they were not cool with you on the court. And that's just what it was. So I'm with it. I love it. And I hope we keep seeing it. I think it is early stages, just like you said. And I think that's why everyone's so worked up about it. But just the point you're making about the resolve and the resilience, it is also still early stages, and they were able to come back at a time where it looked like they might get their first defeat in the first early rounds. So I am also proud of them, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say I'm proud of the Netherlands, and I'm proud for every team that has been killing it, including a team that you have a connection to.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.